I'm Georgia Russell. I am an artist. I work with two-dimensional and three-dimensional pieces. I am Scottish but live in France. I've been in France now for 10 or so years. This show is, I suppose I'm going further into abstraction. There aren't any figurative landscapes as such, like from the previous show, which was enlarged photographs which are cut up. I'm really getting interested in the mark making, the repetition and the transparencies and layers within a painting. I've started painting, which is something I've always kind of done, but this has been a real chance to try painting and the depths and colours and changes that you can create within mark making and the gesture. I think it's a lot about the gesture, about my own repetitive gesture in cutting, but also the gesture of painting and the movement and time in painting. Also colour, I've been exploring colour and what that can do maybe as an experience or as an emotion, as also this feeling of, there's always this feeling that, you know, there's maybe a bright colour, but it's been coming apart and we've lost half of it. So you're always maybe losing something at the same time as looking at something. Yeah, and just the fact that I've been changed scale. You know, I've been doing 5 metre by 3 metre pieces. So the work I'm hoping is to becoming more of an experience rather than just looking at an artwork. It's always a bit of a surprise at the end what the piece will actually look like because of the 2 layers. And I think a part of the very interesting thing, and I even get myself confused, is when I'm painting that I have to paint both layers kind of simultaneously. So I lay them both together, and I know that, for example, if I'm painting pink on one, then the underneath on the other one will have to be in the same area, another colour for going behind it. It's very interesting as well that the paintings have to be double-sided, so that I have to paint both sides, so it's really becoming a 4-sided painting in a way. And when I cut, then the background of that canvas will come forward, so the different colours from behind the canvas come out of us, so that the colours are kind of pouring out of the surface. All these things are really super simple but interesting colour-wise and sculptural-wise, and I suppose conceptually as well. Sometimes I have painted the 2 layers simultaneously, and then sometimes at the end, once they're up and together, I can modify the paint by painting back on the canvas again at the end. But I didn't do that for this piece behind me. It just seemed to work straight away. It was very lucky, maybe. And then with the other one, what was interesting, I started painting on top after it was finished. So you get these drips happening, which again give it another more watery feeling, and which goes perfectly well with, you know, they're mixtures of air, they're mixtures of water, they're mixtures of clouds changing. When I'm working, I listen to things I want to learn about, like poetry. I'm quite interested in poetry, and I really don't know a lot about it. So I started educating myself on the internet about the Romantics, and they were speaking about Shelley and his poem of The Cloud. And so I was thinking it fits perfectly with what I was working on at that moment, which was this idea of water being kind of, it goes from a cloud back into the sea, back into the air. It evaporates, it's difficult to trace, but it always comes back. And so it's this kind of cycle of water within our atmosphere. And it's also a metaphor for life and living and generations. And so this became a really good reassurance and inspiration within my work. Yeah.